Welcome back to the Armenian Museum of America. I'm Gary Lynn-Sananian, and I'd like to share another artifact with you, an instrument and some folklore. This instrument is called a saz. A saz is a stringed instrument which was used to entertain. It was particularly popular among professional singers, troubadours, called ashugs. And the ashug would go from town to town entertaining. That was his living. His instrument would usually be a little larger than this one because he needed a larger voice for a large crowd. A smaller one was made for an individual to be used in the family. This particular instrument was made by Barsim Krikorian from Harput in 1885. So the instrument is almost 140 years old. And this was brought by him to America and passed down in his family in Kentucky. And so this has been part of the family for almost 140 years. And his granddaughter made a little plaque which describes that the instrument was made by Barsim Krikorian, 1885. And most Armenian children are familiar with the saz because of a folk song they all learned at a very young age called Zengeli Mengeli. Zengeli Mengeli Ziv Ziv, Zengeli Mengeli Ziv Ziv, da da dee da dee da dee da da. The song talks about a sparrow, and the sparrow is a very clever little bird, and the sparrow has a thorn in his foot, and so he goes and he trades the thorn for a loaf of bread. How he does that, I don't know. Then he trades a loaf of bread for a lamb. Then he trades the lamb for a bride, and then he trades the bride away for a saz. So he can land on a tree, and he can play his saz, and he can chirp and sing all he wants. This song can also be seen in this book, The Greedy Sparrow by Lucine Kasparian. And this is basically taking the song and making a book of the tale of this particular bird and how he manipulates people around him so that he can get his saz. And this is available in our gift shop in case you want to order it. The saz is not as popular today as it once was. Instruments change in popularity. Some gain and some wane. Another example would be the kanun, which wasn't very popular in Armenia in the 19th century, but is very popular today. And this instrument was popular and not so popular, but it was very important. There used to be traveling troubadours in Armenia. These Armenian musicians would go from city, to town, to village, and they would entertain the people and be paid for it. This is how they made their living. Those musicians usually had a bit larger than this one because those would be used a louder voice so that the crowd could hear it when you're performing for the crowd. This one is smaller, it's more intimate. And those musicians would often compete with each other. It was a job and you had competitors. And what they would do was hold contests. And so you had these elderly musicians who would be the judges of the contest. They would sit there, and the young musicians would each one play his instrument, the saz or the kamanche sometimes, and they would sing. And the judges would listen to them very carefully, and they would pick one as the best one of that group. And when the best one was the winner, of course, Sayat Nova won many competitions. And this was an important event because what happens is the losers had to give away their instrument to the winner because he had beaten them in the contest. And so the winner would sometimes give the instrument back to the person, or sometimes he would hold it for ransom. Okay, you can have it back, but it's going to cost you. So this is part of the tradition. The Armenian Museum is here to share our stories with you, to share our history, our culture. We thank you for joining us. We thank Michelle Collegian, the president of the board of the museum, for making this series possible. And we hope that you come and join us at the museum. There'll be some wonderful exhibits here. Until next time, stay safe.